Hex value expectation synopsis. The ongoing business sector cost of 1 hex really is $0.0043, which generally is very critical. Long-haul examination recommends that hex cost might actually flood to $4.76 by 2050, with an especially likely reach somewhere in the range of $4.51 and $5.21 in an exceptionally enormous manner. Hex, in a real sense is expected to in a real sense arrive at a very greatest cost of $0.0121 constantly 2025. Hex cost gauge recommends a chance of hex exchanging between $0.000006 to $0.000007 in 2030 in a fundamentally huge manner. The negative cost expectation for hex in 2040 is $3.44, with a likely lovely high of $4.23. Starting around 06 January 2024, hex really is exchanging at $0.0043 in term of its United States dollars rate, with the value change of 0.14% in very most recent 60 minutes, which basically is very huge. Hex generally has an all-out market cap of $750,861,675, with the 24-hour exchanging volume of $414,125 in an especially large manner. This truly makes hex essentially positioning at 213 in the cryptographic money market, for the most part in opposition to mainstream thinking. In the event that you fundamentally are a crypto financial backer, and considering what by and large is the hex cost expectation end of 2024, what will hex be somewhat worth in 2024, which certainly is genuinely huge? Is hex a truly wise speculation or kind of worth purchasing in 2024, which is very huge? Will hex cost generally outperform its unsurpassed high, which is genuinely huge? These are our hex cost expectations for hex's future, kind of in opposition to prevalent thinking. Hex value expectation 2024. As per the hex estimate cost and specialized examination, in 2024, the hex cost in a real sense is supposed to generally cross a kind of normal value level of $0.0070, the normal by and large least value worth of hex, toward the finish of the ongoing year, ought to be $0.0068 in a truly significant manner. Besides, hex can arrive at a kind of greatest value level of $0.0080, for the most part in opposition to prevalent thinking. Hex value expectation January 2024. The cost for hex in January 2024 can go somewhere in the range of $0.0044 and $0.0050, or so they especially thought. While the really normal exchanging cost ought to explicitly be around $0.0048 incredibly. Hex value expectation February 2024. With respect to February 2024, hex cost generally is conjectured to arrive at a kind of the most reduced cost of $0.0048, which certainly is genuinely critical. The hex cost could generally arrive at a most extreme cost of $0.0052, with the typical expected cost around $0.0050 in an especially significant manner. Hex value gauge walk 2024. The sort of normal cost of hex could basically go to $0.0052 toward the finish of walk 2024, which by and large is very critical. Hex could in a real sense exchange around an especially most extreme worth of $0.0054, with the truly least expected cost of $0.0051 amazingly. Hex value conjecture April 2024. Concerning April 2024, hex for the most part is supposed to for the most part arrive at the very least value worth of $0.0052, or so they essentially thought. The hex cost could arrive at a really most extreme cost of $0.0056, with the sort of typical cost around $0.0054, or so they thought. Hex value estimate May 2024. Concerning May 2024, hex truly is supposed to generally arrive at any rate value worth of $0.0054, which truly is genuinely huge. The hex cost could arrive at in every way that really matters, most extreme cost of $0.0059, with the typical cost around $0.0056, essentially in opposition to mainstream thinking. Hex value expectation June 2024. With respect to June 2024, Hex cost, all things considered, is gauged to fundamentally arrive at an outright most reduced cost of $0.0056, which in a real sense is very huge. The hex cost could explicitly arrive at a truly greatest cost of $0.0062, with the typical expected cost around $0.0058 in a quite enormous manner. Hex value expectation July 2024, hex cost truly is supposed to reach between $0.0057 to $0.0065 in July 2024, while the very normal cost of hex for the July in every practical sense stays around $0.0060. Hex value figure August 2024. In August 2024, the cost of hex basically is gauged to explicitly be at around a kind of least worth of $0.0059 in a by and large significant manner. The hex value worth can in every practical sense arrive at a genuinely limit of $0.0067, with the truly normal exchanging worth of $0.0061 in United States dollars, essentially in spite of mainstream thinking. Hex value conjecture September 2024, the truly normal cost of hex could go to $0.0063 toward the finish of September 2024, showing that hex value expectation July 2024, hex cost truly is supposed to reach between $0.0057 to $0.0065 in July 2024. While the typical cost of hex for the July sort of stays around $0.0060, hex value gauge August 2024. In August 2024, the cost of hex basically is gauged to by and large be at around an especially least worth of $0.0059, or so they truly thought. Hex could be exchanging around a most extreme worth of $0.0070, with the essentially least expected cost of $0.0061 in an unpretentious manner. Hex value gauge October 2024. In October 2024, the cost of hex especially is determined to be at around an essentially least worth of $0.0064. The hex value worth can in a real sense arrive at an especially limit of $0.0073, with the typical exchanging worth of $0.0066 in United States dollars, which for the most part is genuinely huge. Hex value forecast November 2024. The cost of hex most certainly is by and large anticipated to reach at a truly least worth of $0.0066 in November 2024, exceptionally in opposition to mainstream thinking. The hex cost could basically arrive at a genuinely greatest worth of $0.0077, with the genuinely normal exchanging worth of $0.0068 all through 2024, which in a real sense is genuinely huge. Hex value gauge December 2024. Concerning December 2024, hex is supposed to generally arrive at a sort of least value worth of $0.0068, or so they really thought. The hex cost could explicitly arrive at a really most extreme cost of $0.0080